Hi everyone, I'm back. The 9 Realms Season 5 debuted back in March, and that means it's time for another long-awaited review by yours truly. As per usual, I'm cosplaying as a character from said show. Can you guess which one? This is in part due to the fact that I called Thunder a mutated cow dog all the way back in my teaser trailer review before the show even came out, and in part because I, like the 9 Realms, have just stopped caring. At a certain point, you just want to come to work in your pajamas, and that's what I'm doing. I have nubs. What? I don't need to do the hood. You know what? Nah, the hood is more comfortable. And more accurate to Thunder's character design, if you ask me. Or maybe I'm just worn down by that 5-hour Hiccup and Astrid video I spent 2 months on. Go watch that instead. It is infinitely better than this, I promise. Or maybe it's the fact that the last time I uploaded one of these, it was taken down by Universal after 3 hours of being public, and I lost half the revenue I was due, but who cares? It's not like I do this for a living. Support me on Patreon, please. Yeah, spoiler alert, this season was not as offensively horrible as season 4 was. You know, where they found Hiccup's millennium-old prosthetic leg and then fed it to a dragon. Did you forget about that? I won't let you. In fact, I know a lot of people who think that this season is one of the best in the show yet, and has a lot of fantastic stuff to appreciate. Oh, to be them. As a general overview, season 5 to me felt the most like a filler season. It really feels like with the narrative ground they covered, they could have covered it in 2 or 3 episodes rather than all 6. The first 5 are pretty slow, but this season finale is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. They go balls out with so much shit in the final episode of this season, it's kind of incredible. You're gonna want to stick around till the end for this one. So yes, I still think it's bad, but if you're going to completely diss it, I recommend that you go watch it for yourself, form your own opinion, do not let my negative bias influence you. But if you're just here to watch the train wreck from afar, then sit back and relax, because I'm going to tell you everything that happened. Also, similar to my Season 3 review, I did a discussion this time with Razorblade and KLC, who just recently changed his channel name to Ember Nexus, and I'll be periodically inputting it throughout the video when it's relevant, but if you want to watch the unedited 2 hours, it is available on my Patreon. The link is in the description for that. Also, the links to both Ember Nexus and Razorblade's channels will be in the description of this video, so go support them if you are not already. And as always, I do not condone anyone going after or harassing people who worked on the show or people who share their positive opinion of the show publicly. They are just as entitled to their opinions as I am entitled to mine, and the people who made it are just doing their jobs. So I hope you enjoy my Season 5 review. As always, strap in, because this season gets pretty wild. But before we dive in completely, you know what else is really wild? Identity theft, and I'd like to help you conquer it with today's sponsor, Aura. With identity theft on the rise, Aura offers a combination of identity protection, insurance, credit, and social security monitoring from the convenience of your smartphone. Not to mention their internet safety features such as a built-in VPN, password protection, and antivirus software, all from a single app. As much as we'd like to be, we can't all be as tech-savvy as Queen Alex. So it's never been a better time to make sure you're protected as you browse the web. If Aura detects any data breaches or suspicious activity with your information, you'll be notified right away, meaning you can have the peace of mind of knowing that your data is protected at all times. And using my custom link in the description, Aura is offering 2 free weeks of their full services. That's aura.com/Audrey. If you're not happy with the services, you can cancel the free trial at any time at no cost to you. But I don't think you're gonna want to cancel. Again, that's aura.com/Audrey, link is in the description. And thank you to Aura for sponsoring today's video. And now, on with the shitty recorder. I quite honestly feel disgusting even including a stuff I liked portion of this video, because I think the 9 Realms after last season has done its due diligence in stomping the original franchise and everything it meant into the dirt, just to pull down their pants and shit all over it for good measure. I cannot fathom. It's been 4 months since the last season, and I cannot fathom what led the showrunners to do what they did in Season 4's finale. In case you weren't there to see it, I've already mentioned it once this video, Fuckboy McGee and his band of assholes discovered Hiccup's prosthetic leg in the Nightlight Sanctuary in the Hidden World, and to defend himself in a fight against the Snow Wraith, threw it into the dragon's mouth, and the dragon crushed and ate it. Can we see that again? One more time for good measure. Yeah, now do it over that clip of John saying how much he respects the franchise.
I just hope that they know that I love the franchise as much as they do, and I'm treating it with the respect and love that I think it deserves.
I am genuinely sorry, the Nine Realms. I know it's not your fault. You were manufactured by a billion-dollar corporation. You didn't ask to exist. But I cannot let you get away with what you did. You are incapable of coming back from that. I will never take anything this continuation of the franchise does seriously ever again. And yes, for those questioning, I was. When this show does good things, I praise them for it. I always have. Even back in season 1, I was doing that shit. You know what though? I'll make this promise right now. There is one singular thing that this show can do to regain my respect after that shit. And it's, you guessed it, make Tom and Alex get together. Don't get your panties in a bunch. I know it's not going to fucking happen, especially after the vomit-inducing premiere this season. But don't say I didn't give this show an out. There it is. All they have to do is take it. And in case you couldn't tell by my rant so far, this is going to be less of a stuff I liked section and more of a they took the things I usually like and flushed them down a toilet section. But starting out with legitimately good things about this season, the music was pretty great at times, especially in episode 2's flight sequence. You can tell that they're actually trying to build a unique sound for this show that really shines through this season. Other things include general designs of the new dragons. I don't have any major complaints with them or the things they introduce in the jungle realm that we discover. We only spend 2 episodes in it, which is kind of funny, but not surprising really. The magma breather also returns, so 100 points there. Even though it's hardly in the season, I still love it unconditionally, and I want it as a big ground stuffed animal that I can hold when I'm feeling sad. Can someone make that happen? Speaking of feeling sad, you're probably saying to yourself, Audrey, why isn't Alex at the top of your list? She's the queen, for God's sake. And it is my dishonor to report that this show committed the ultimate sin of not having an Alex-centric episode at all this new season.
What the fuck?
She of course has her queen moments that I'll be pointing out, but they really don't utilize her at all, which is why I think this show is effectively committing self-delete at this point. And also, remember how one of the best parts of last season was her and Eugene's character development? And he underwent a lot of growth from where he started in season 2 to where he was legitimately becoming probably the best character in the entire show besides Alex? Yeah, well this season they said fuck all that, let's make him an asshole again. He genuinely acts no different than he did when he was first introduced in season 2, and it is just as infuriating as it sounds. Not just because they made him super annoying, but because they had a really compelling thing going on with him. They had a singular character in this train wreck of a show that had genuine depth, and they actually said fuck it, make him a douchebag again. Why? Don't you want compelling characters in your show that's entirely void of compelling characters? It honestly gives me the impression that they made Eugene super sympathetic and likable last season by accident, and when they realized it, they went, wait, we can't have the audience like him. He's supposed to be the jerk of the group, and the audience is supposed to like Tom more. Whatever, just make him an asshole again. Who cares about character development anyways? And along those lines, I will say that June, who I absolutely fucking despise after last season, is not as insufferable this time around. I'm pretty sure the words "I'm sorry" left her mouth at one point, which I never would have expected. The Nine Realms is breaking some serious new ground. Don't get me wrong, she's still awful and has virtually no characterization, but the little development she has with Eugene in their episode together has potential to be good. But that is all it is. Potential that I know the screenwriters are gonna leave out to die like a fucking possum they ran over with their truck. None of the other characters are any good, but I will say that Olivia kept me really entertained throughout the season because they decided to make her character dumber than a sack of bricks, and it was funny to me watching her make awful decisions and almost die like 100 times because of them. Actually, this whole season has a lot of great moments that out of context look like brutal death scenes.
Bring me up! Bring me up!
Yeah, that's all. Let's get started. Episode 1 is titled Punishment and Torture, and there has never been a more appropriate description for the watching experience of this show. Particularly this episode, as it contained moments that made me feel like I needed an ambulance, but we'll talk about it. The episode begins immediately where we left off from season 4, which, in case you don't recall, concluded with Tom's mother, Olivia, discovering the dragons in their lair before it abruptly ended. Well, I say dragons plural, but she actually only discovers thunder at first, and she spends the entire first episode unaware that the other kids have dragons and are in on it, and because she has the IQ of a whiteboard eraser, she can't put 2 and 2 together. Actually, she only figures it out when Tom straight up tells her later in the episode. It's really dumb. Now I'm gonna start off with a positive here. I think Olivia's reaction to Tom and Thunder was pretty well done. She has a very resigned reaction to figuring out that mythological flying, fire-breathing lizards are real, but so is every other human being in this show, so that checks out. But I thought her anger at Tom was very justified, the way it probably would be in real life if that kind of trust was broken between parent and child. Down to Tom simply asking if he can say goodbye to Thunder, and she won't even let him do that.
Can I at least say goodbye? No! Mom, wait!
But there's one small issue with all of this, and it's that the screenwriters are just breezing past the fact that for 3.5 seasons of this show, Olivia forgot she had a child. The last time her and Tom had an episode where they interacted to a narrative extent was all the way back in season 2. I think in season 3, she was only in like 2 scenes throughout all 7 episodes, where they had that conversation in front of their Nazi shield. I'm getting sidetracked. My point is, Olivia only started becoming a concerned parent in the extreme later half of season 4, so I'm not really buying that she cares about Tom so excessively that she'd be this mad. A lot of the issues I have with this season stem from Olivia as a character and how not developed anything that happens with her is. I think it was their goal to have a majority of the development take place this season, but you can't just rush into it. It's something you have to build over the seasons that have already come out. Remember all those times I pointed out that half of the episodes are just useless filler that could be used for quality development? This problem is the direct result of that. The show is literally proving me right with every new season that comes out. So the other kids hide until Olivia drags Tom away, and we instantly cut to a week later. What? Yeah, an entire week has gone by, I guess, and now the other kids are coming to visit Tom, who's been on house arrest, basically. Or restriction. Olivia calls it restriction, because she's not a regular mom, she's a cool mom. Also, I tweeted this Mean Girls quote asking if it was inspiration for Olivia all season 5, and he told me that quoting Mean Girls was so ironic he couldn't cut it with a typhoon. Typhoon? I think he meant timberjack. And also that is not saying much, considering your timberjack couldn't cut through a 2-inch rope. I'm obviously fucking around. Everyone go follow John on Twitter. He's actually really funny. And just to clarify, is Tom not going to school during this week? Are any of the kids going to school anymore? The last time we saw them in school was season 2. I mean, they went on a quote-unquote field trip last season to the laboratory, but that could have just been its own thing. And all the kids left from it without anyone saying anything, so I guess they don't go to school anymore. Then why would you make it a thing in the first place? Did anyone ask that question? Are they still alive? Did they go missing? Is their family searching for answers? So Tom tells the others that he's put his free time into finally translating the dragon book they got from the locked box last season.
It's about damn time.
I'd like you to keep in mind they've had this book in their possession for over 4 episodes now, which equates to at bare minimum several weeks or even months of time within the universe. Enough time for Buzzsaw to grow out his mullet and beard, for fuck's sake. What makes this even funnier is that all they did was Google Viking runes to figure it out. That's not even my theory. That is a line of dialogue.
I've been putting my downtime to good use.
Tom and I found some runes on the internet.
Which means that Tom could have literally had the book translated the night he pulled it out of the dragon box if he really wanted to, but I guess it just doesn't really matter that much to him, even though it's all he's been talking about for 2 seasons now. Oh yeah, and I guess that moment in the finale last season where D'Angelo calls Thunder's little sibling a nightlight was just a giant fuck up on the screenwriter's part after all.
Baby nightlights are fast.
Because the premiere of season 5 is the first time they actually translate anything from it. Apparently D'Angelo just magically knew, or the script supervisor is just lazy as hell. No, it's probably magic. And I haven't even gotten to the worst fucking part of this god-awful scene yet.
Oh, no. If it wasn't for you misspelling the word Viking, I never would have stumbled on them.
Well, That's true.
You and June did this?
Together?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, discounting how that exchange made me feel like I actually needed a dose of epinephrine to survive. Ew. Ew, 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 ew. I hate it. Oh my god. No! Oh my god. Oh. What the fuck? I don't think I've ever seen a show that hates its audience more. I now have to spend time talking about the shipping in this show. Pray for me. Now, it's very obvious that I've been kind of the spearhead for wanting Tom and Alex to get together, and that kind of sparked, a trend. But people are taking my stance on that a lot more seriously than I ever initially intended. The only reasons I ever suggested that Tom and Alex should be the primary ship is because, number one, they have incredible chemistry that blows any of the Tom-June dynamic out of the water. Number two, Alex deserves all the screen time in the world. And number three, I know love interests in this show are going to become a thing eventually, either way, as I've clearly been proven right by this scene and what it implies. But my initial intention in saying that was never to persuade the internet into altering the story progression of the show. I was only employing the barest, most basic common sense that the characters who actually have chemistry in a show where nobody has chemistry should be the ones the screenwriters focus on. Because when you have characters that nobody likes together and attempt to push them regardless of the mountains of feedback you're receiving, you are going to drop the ball. Case in point, everything about this scene. You're telling me the screenwriters are actually going to die on the hill that is Tom and June developing a romance, and all of their bonding moments and development happens off screen? Isn't the point of what you're so adamantly implying is going to happen that Tom and June actually do have great chemistry, and yet you don't let the audience see it at all? Do you have any idea how much worse that makes this already hilariously bad situation look for you? I mean, if it's going to happen regardless of audience feedback, don't you think you should actually explore it so it doesn't feel as forced and unnatural as it already did? That would be like if in Race to the Edge, instead of Hiccup and Astrid spending 4 seasons subtly getting closer and closer to professing their feelings, all we got was the other writers going, "Hey, Hiccup and Astrid have been spending a lot of time together lately. Isn't that interesting?" And the others would go, yeah, that is interesting. And that's fucking it. How awful of a romantic progression would that be? Well, you don't have to wonder. Just watch the 9 Realms, apparently. Or don't. Just watch my reviews, because that's why I make them. Oh, you did this. No, you did this. And Alex and D'Angelo are in the backgrounds nudging each other going, oh, you and June were doing this by yourselves? And it's supposed to be a flirting.
Oh my god.
Hey, can I defend this real quick?
No, you cannot.
No,
And
please.
I'll tell you why.
Hear me
I will
out.
tell you why you cannot defend it, okay? There are so many
Just
things
hear me
wrong
out.
with this scene. First off, we never actually see them develop their relationship. Why are we
Could you
being
hear me
told?
out?
No, you can wait until I'm done ranting. Fine. DJ, why do you defend this scene?
This relationship is awful, right?
Yes.
Then it's a good thing we don't see it. There's my defense.
That is the most cop-out bullshit I've ever heard come out of your mouth.
That's what I was gonna say
come
the
on,
whole
what's the
time.
actual reason that you like this?
No, that was the joke. I was joking.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We were about to fight. We were about to have a fist fight.
I would fly myself to the States just to hurt you for that.
This is literally day 1 rules of screenwriting. I don't care if you're a children's show with limited time and budget to get the story across. I don't care if you're writing the episode at gunpoint. You are perfectly capable of comprehending the show don't tell rule. Who the fuck is orchestrating this? It's me. Hi. I'd like to welcome you all to the School of Writing cheap spin-offs deriving from actually decent source material. I'm here to prepare you for the grueling and deeply undersatisfying task of writing a screenplay for one of our shows. Today's lesson is very simple. A classic rule of cinema: tell, don't show. Excuse me? Who are you? You're a screenwriter. You hired me to write the episode. Hired? Since when do we pay people for this? I just had a question. Isn't the rule actually show, don't tell? What kind of ridiculous question is that? Showing the gradual progression of events instead of just telling the brain-dead children everything that happens in our show would take time and effort. We are a knockoff. We have neither. Alright, I'm starting to get it. Just let me take notes so I don't forget. Wait. Why aren't you restrained? What? And I want to reiterate again, because people on the internet have a habit of being dense as a wall of bricks, that fan culture should rarely, if ever, influence what happens in a show. But when the proof is as in the pudding as it is here, fuck, the proof literally is the pudding at this point, that two characters and their personalities objectively have better chemistry than the ones you're pushing for some fucking reason, maybe you should consider for a second that the thousands of people who hold this opinion may have a point and we aren't just all spiteful assholes. Although, admittedly, as the seasons go on and Tom and June inevitably get together, it becomes more and more hysterical to me how hyper-aware the showrunners are of the fact that nobody likes them. And that amusement almost makes up for the actual storyline being shit. Almost. But thankfully, this is the only episode this season that contains any Tom and June moments. Wow, the only episode this season that contains moments from a ship that everyone who consumes this show hates happens to be titled Punishment and Torture.
Coincidence? I think not!
So Tom tells D'Angelo and Alex all about the dragon knowledge they've discovered because he finally cares about learning about dragons now, even though he claimed to care about learning about dragons forever ago, but didn't translate the book until just now. And Olivia tells the kids to fuck off, so they leave and get all awkward when Tom assumes they aren't exploring without him, because I guess he made them promise to not go into the hidden world while he was grounded, even though he's gone into the hidden world by himself without them a fuck ton of times, which is never explained. Why exactly are the others not allowed to explore? Tom would go exploring by himself all the time over the last 4 seasons, but when the others do it, it's bad. You're an asshole. So the kids hang out in the dragon lair until Alex's magical sensors start going off in the ice realm and Eugene tries convincing them to check it out.
Eugene.
Yeah, that wouldn't be cool. We promised to wait for Tom.
He obviously wouldn't want us to go.
And he's our friend.
Okay, fine. We'll go.
Oh my god, why have characters spend 3 minutes bantering about how they shouldn't do something if they're just going to decide to do it anyway? And this is the beginning of a very, very long-standing point about how this season is nothing but filler. So Tom jerks off to dragon smut in his room while the kids go off to the ice realm.
I guess Buzzsaw has expanded his operation.
Fucking how? I was always more than willing to suspend my disbelief that the 6 dragon riders in Race to the Edge were more than capable of building Dragon's Edge in a short amount of time because there were fucking 6 of them, and they had dragons that were fully trained who helped with the building. Buzzsaw is one dude with a captured dragon, and until a few months ago, he didn't know dragons or this realm were a fucking thing. And I think this goes without saying, but even though the writers building Dragon's Edge so fast was hard for a lot of people to buy, it is far easier for the audience to overlook one singular thing in a show that could be illogical if a majority of other things in that show make at least some form of sense. Where is Buzzsaw getting tools? How has he not frozen to death? Why don't these dragons that breathe fire just melt that fucking ice and escape before they're killed and eaten? Where did he get the collar for this dragon? The fuck did Eugene just trip over? Why does Buzzsaw look like Billy Ray Cyrus now? So it turns out Buzzsaw's been keeping flamethrowers captive in his ice realm hideout for some reason. They could literally torch him and escape at any moment, but just choose not to, I guess. And this is the perfect time for me to point out how this show, especially with this new season, is doing nothing but becoming a parody of itself. Because Buzzsaw just straight up makes fun of the names that this show gave to the dragons.
They're called flamethrowers.
Flamethrowers? What an idiotic name.
It came off as them not even really just making fun of themselves. It kind of felt like they were making fun of the people who say that the names are bad. Like us.
Like me, personally.
Oh, great! He carved another whistle.
We are not even halfway through episode 1. and my confusion is transcending reality. Okay, I actually feel like I'm sitting in front of a group of kindergartners when I'm explaining this to the people who run this bullshit, and to those people, I can't understand this. The entire plot of Season 4, Episode 4 was to get across that Buzzsaw is manipulating a timberjack with a whistle, and the kid's dumbass leader spends the entire 22 minutes stealing that whistle and thwarting him. And now, in the villain of this show's next appearance, he just has another one, meaning that 1/6 of all of last season could have been cut out and nothing about this new season would change. Oh, well actually that's not true, because the kid's brain-dead leader did teach Buzzsaw how to fly and manipulate dragons on his own volition in that episode, and now he knows how to do that. And is doing that. I thought that I was far beyond the point of this show amazing me with its own incompetence, but I am constantly proven wrong. So Buzzsaw, along with his timberjack, Jack, capture the kids even though they outnumber him 4-1 and their dragons are just sitting there watching and could interfere at all but just choose not to. So Thunder causes a blackout to go see Tom because he was following the kids in the ice realm when they got captured, and when Olivia catches them, she tries getting him to leave, but he just sits there like a stubborn dog. It's a pretty hilarious moment, but it's also kind of ruined by the fact that Olivia has the IQ of a plank of wood, because Tom admits that the other kids also ride dragons, and she reacts like he just came out of the closet or something.
Tom.
Hey, it could be worse. At least he wasn't off yiffing. So Tom tries convincing Olivia to let him go help his friends.
You expect me to just let you go with the dragon to rescue your friends?
When you put it that way, it sounds like a bad parenting decision.
Yeah, because this woman has never made one of those before. So some stuff happens, and after he gives Olivia a speech about friendship and yiffing, she lets him go. And he meets the others in the ice realm to help them escape. He lets them out, then Buzzsaw shows up, then the Sky Torture shows up, and Tom gives his second dramatic yiffing speech, but Buzzsaw just dips out before he can finish.
Tommy?
Okay, fine, you got me. Admittedly, something I got wrong in my trailer reaction about him having a redemption arc, but holy fuck was that entire trailer misleading as hell. More on that in a minute. Tom tells the others he has a way to stop the Sky Torture, which is now in the Ice Realm, to help the flamethrowers or some shit.
We didn't have this.
You're gonna read it to death?
No, he's gonna feed it to the dragon like he did Hiccup's leg last season. So they attack the Sky Torture by combining their dragon power, which is something Tom translated from the book. Good thing it just sat idly until you flew up to it. How nice of dragons in this show to be mindful of the major budget restrictions that require them to not be moving 90% of the time. And they ward it off by releasing the flamethrowers, and they and the Sky Torture fly through a hole in the ground, and the kids look down in it. What do you know?
It's a whole new realm.
It looks like a rain.
Come on now. Come on. Are you serious? We are not one episode deep into this new season, and I already have a new appreciation for the Ice Realm's impractical design. Fuck the fact that there are weather systems, miles of space above them, and a fucking sun underground. At least there was an entrance that the showrunners spent more than 0.2 seconds of time conceptualizing. Is this seriously all you had the time to do? They just look through a hole in the ground and there's a gigantic rainforest realm with natural lighting and foliage like 10 feet below the ice realm? Didn't really think about this until now, but it's oddly convenient that despite the hidden world evidently being so expansive that dragons from every culture of every continent exist down there, all 9 realms happen to be within a 10-mile radius of this one random place in Scandinavia. Also, remember whenever I said that the season 5 trailer was misleading as hell? They had that whole doomsday speech with dramatic music and editing about how they needed to defeat the Sky Torture, and I shit you not, after it disappears into the rainforest realm at the end of episode 1, it is never seen again. The fuck are you even doing marketing for the 9 realms? You should really hold yourself to a higher standard with your sole 59-second trailer that was accidentally released 2 weeks early, then privated after your executive producer had already shared it on Twitter. The promotion of this show was nominated for an Emmy, for fuck's sake. Yes, that's actually true. It was nominated for Outstanding Promotional Announcement for the single trailer it released for season 3 and still lost. Shocking.
I'm sorry I made you promise not to come down here. It was selfish of me.
It was.
You know what? Fuck it. So everything's fine and Tom goes back home to his mother.
From now on, I'm gonna need you to tell me everything.
Everything?
Everything.
All the single furries, 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 all the single furries. Now put your paws up.
But the episode isn't over yet, because we still have what is probably one of my favorite moments of Season 5, complete with the return of Buzzsaw's loggers, Ford and— oh my god, it's Winston! For those who are unaware, because a striking amount of people who watch these reviews just pick up with whatever I upload currently and never go back to watch the previous ones, Winston the Logger is my favorite character in the show from my favorite episode of the show, Season 2, Episode 4, Downpour, where there was an entire several minutes long sequence where he changed races from a black man to a white man in what was the most incredible continuity error I have ever seen. They forgot to make him black! And I don't mean that in exaggeration. There was, for some reason, a model of him as a black man and a separate model of him as a white man, and they somehow mixed them up. So he's back with Ford at the sinkhole to memorialize Buzzsaw, I guess. Keep in mind there were originally 3 brothers, but only 2 appear in this season. I guess Dude the Logger died from smoke inhalation, or they just couldn't afford his voice actor.
Hold it right there, Roughnecks. I got a new job opportunity for you, and it's going to require you to relocate.
This is the shit I'm talking about. Buzzsaw just casually popping up and kidnapping 2 grown men while simultaneously floating over what was previously shown to be minimum 30 feet of air is exactly the stupid shit this show does that makes it the least bit enjoyable. If they actually embraced their incompetence every once in a while and played it up for laughs, I would give this show every point imaginable. But we are not so lucky. Episode 2 is titled Welcome to the Wonderful World of Dragons and focuses on Tom staging a showcase of dragons in the hidden world to prove to his mother that it's safe down there even though it clearly is not. And we start out with Tom finally embracing his furry nature. And I bet you thought I was joking with all that yiffing talk last episode.
Wow.
So Olivia demands Tom take her into the hidden world so she can make sure it's not too dangerous for a bunch of children to hang out in alone because she has the IQ of a toilet seat. You're telling me you just learned that your child and the children of all of your colleagues have been flying around fire-breathing reptiles over thousands of feet of air surrounded by lava, unexplored caves, not to mention an axe-wielding chronic masturbator, and you feel the need to go down and assess if it's safe or not? But Audrey, we wouldn't have an episode if people acted like people. Maybe I should take a lesson from Universal. They seem to know what they're doing. It's me. Hi. We're back with another lesson from the School of Writing Cheap Spin-Offs. The lesson today is very simple. Writing a thorough plot from a concept. Now the rule here is really spectacular. Do whatever is easiest, and if someone has a problem with it, tell them to go fuck themselves. Or just ignore them completely, because they don't know what they're talking about. Excuse me, who gave you permission to speak? Wouldn't it be better if we assume that people who watch our show actually apply basic logic and ask questions even in a fictional setting? What are you talking about? We're making this show for kids. Kids can't think for themselves, they only consume. That's why we're here. But don't we have an obligation to introduce children into concepts such as thinking critically? We could be the only source of wisdom in a child's life. What if they come from a dysfunctional family and aren't taught these important life lessons at home? What's so funny? Oh, you fucking imbecile. We don't care about giving children tools for success. We only care about taking their parents' money. And if you had done what I asked and wrote those 4 seasons in the time allotted, maybe we could do more of that. I had half a work day. And with all that time, your work was still shoddy. Season 4, Uncharted Territory, a plot that made actual sense? Why would you do something so stupid? Yeah, well, these handcuffs are too freaking tight, okay? I can barely feel my fingers anymore. So Tom devises a plan to assemble the least threatening dragons they can to show his mom, rather than let her see all the actually dangerous dragons, and we get the thick boy! The magma chonker makes his return, even if it's literally just a cameo and he serves no purpose in the episode. You still get points from me for including him because he's the best thing about the episode. Meanwhile, Season 5 baby brain Eugene finds a random dragon they've never seen before and decides to include it without figuring out what it is. You may notice it bears a strange resemblance to the Scuttle Claws from Dragons 2, and according to John Telligan, these are an evolutionary descendant of those. Despite them having a dog whistling ability that in no way was referenced in movie 2, nor would there be any reason they would evolve to do that, nor would the evolution over the course of 1300 years even really matter. My point is, I'm not buying that it was your intention for this dragon to be an evolutionary descendant. Just admit that Universal gave you no time or money, so you copied a model from the previous franchise, and I would respect this episode a lot more. So Tom takes Olivia for a ride on Thunder through the fissure, and the music in this scene is pretty great. I have both praised and critiqued the music in this show in the past, but in general, I do enjoy this show's soundtrack. As I stated all the way back in my Season 1 review, they managed to reinvent the old themes in a new and interesting way that isn't blatantly copying, and if they aren't doing that, then they're creating something new entirely. And when it works really well. In fact, I can't think of a singular moment where this show just copy and pasted the themes from the original franchise without changing something. Oh, wait a second. Oh. Oh yeah, I guess there was that one time.
This is like being on another planet. How could you keep this from me?
Keep this from you? Your fucking job, along with every other adult at this billion-dollar facility, is to explore the fissure. Maybe a better question would be, how the fuck have we not found any evidence of this place existing despite it being our mission for several months at this point to explore specifically this area where the Dragon World is located? Anyways, the rest of the episode is boring as fuck. There's a quick scene with the magma breather and Feathers chasing Alex's laser pointer, but those are the only good things.
Some dinosaurs, mostly theropods, had feathers.
She is not a dinosaur.
The rest of it is literally just Olivia's dumbass going, "Oh, look, a dragon! Oh, look, another dragon! Oh, shit! A dragon!"
In Chinese myths, two-headed dragons are said to represent rebirth.
So it's very possible I could be wrong here, but I think it's worth mentioning that when I talked to HC of Burtcast about Season 5, he claims that his girlfriend, who is of Chinese heritage, told him that that rebirth thing isn't even true.
What does two-headed dragon symbolize in Chinese mythology? And she was very kind to say that not only do two-headed dragons in Chinese mythology do not symbolize rebirth, there are no two-headed dragons in Chinese mythology to begin with.
But hey, what's more likely? That a person who grew up with expansive knowledge of their own culture is just flat out wrong? Or this episode written by a studio in California didn't do their research? Close call. Although I'm inclined to believe the former just because this character is canonically known to make up facts just for the sake of not seeming ignorant. This is not some fan description of the character. This is from the BBC site housing the show. This is an official source's description of June's character. And Snow Kano is starting to make a lot more sense. So the dragons freak out because the evolved Scuttleclaw's dog whistle ability makes them all agitated, and it takes the kids 3 fucking years to realize what's happening.
Mom! Watch out!
You okay?
It'll take more than some falling rocks to take us down.
I'm not like a regular mom, I'm a cool mom.
As scientists, we act as observers.
What have you observed? You suck at your job! I don't even know what's happening anymore. So they finally figure out that the Scuttleclaw thing is what's causing all the problems after D'Angelo stares at it for like 10 minutes. So they end up finding its weakness because Feathers is immune to its whistling and she helps pacify it. Nobody hit me with those death song comparisons. They are not remotely similar in my opinion, and you won't change my mind.
Did we name it? Because it's like some fucked up death song.
Oh my god. Oh my god. You know what? Go fuck.
That's amazing.
You can take that Death Song comparison and shove it up your asses, both of you. I need to provide context for you, KLC. I need to provide context for you. Before KLC got on this call, DJ and I were talking about that dragon, and he thought that it was in, like, what did you call it? You said it was like a death song? Like, isn't that death song?
I thought it was a baby death song.
He thought it was a death.
Okay.
He thought it was a death song, and I got super offended. I was like, "How could you think that's a death song? It looks nothing like a death song." So they stop the dragon from whistling and go back to the lair, and who would have guessed it? Olivia was impressed by their bond with their dragons and says it's fine for them to keep exploring because she's not a regular mom, she's a cool mom. But then she tells them that the other kids need to tell their parents about the dragons because lying is bad or some shit.
The dragon's safety is important, but so is yours. They need to know.
I'm sure that's not going to be a recycled moral opinion to draw this season out to the required number of episodes, with Olivia not acting on it at all until it's convenient for the screenwriters to introduce conflict, right? Episode 3 is titled Barrel of Vine Tales and focuses on the kids exploring the new rainforest realm. And for reasons which I will discuss later, they bring the dragon book along with them, which is subsequently stolen by the new Vinetail dragon. They spend the remainder of the episode attempting to retrieve the book while also encountering the dangers of the new biome. At least I'm pretty sure that those are the events that transpired, because I'm not going to lie, when I first watched this episode, I watched it through a very thick, dense, vibrant red fog. Let me just explain it this way. If I were to describe this episode to someone with minimal context, the first 4 minutes involve nothing but the children dicking around arguing over a chocolate snack, and the remainder follows them as they go on a search in the hidden world for Hiccup's dead body. Yes, that is me over-exaggerating in a very Audrey way, but when you break it down to its barest bones, that is exactly what this episode consists of. The episode starts out with all the kids in the dragon lair minus Tom, and D'Angelo is all happy because he just received a care package from his grandparents, which has a chocolate snack that he really likes, but the other kids want some of it, but he won't share because it's his favorite, but they want him to, but he won't, and we spend 4 fucking minutes on this stupid plotline. I think there was some message about sharing at the end of the episode that came from this, but I don't even fucking remember. Then Fuckboy McGee shows up with the dragon book announcing that he's had a revelation, because how could his heirloom Viking helmet be the very thing to unlock the dragon box containing information from this mysterious Viking character if they weren't connected? And yes, that is a fucking fantastic question, one that I asked very bombastically in my season 4 review. I am not anticipating the show actually explaining this at any point, but if you genuinely expect the audience to buy the fact that Hiccup, or whoever the fuck put this dragon box in the middle of Earth, just assumed that Hiccup's descendant would be the one to find it a millennium in the future by pure chance, then you have a disregard for your audience's intelligence so deep, it's kind of impressive. There is no situation, even in a children's fantasy action-adventure show with dragons, where that would be remotely plausible. I have never in my life seen a piece of media that treats its audience like they are incapable of logical reasoning more than this show. Just don't think about it. Just don't think about it. Don't think about logic. Don't think about reasoning. Just don't think. Just don't think. And all your problems will go away.
Unless the author was part of my family. But until I know his name, I can't know for sure. I mean, I kind of know what he looked like from drawings in the book and on the wall of that cave in the Realm of Kings.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you, Tom, but that was not your ancestor, that was John Telligan. And if you're sweating in your seat right now because they are simply alluding to Hiccup as a character within this show, then I recommend throwing away all electronics, jumping under your covers, and not emerging until this show is finally over and dead and buried, because you will not be able to stomach what happens next.
And I know the word Hiccup is used to describe him, but that's probably because he had Viking indigestion.
What the f?
Hiccup is used to describe him, but that's probably because he had Viking indigestion.
Fuck you. Oh my god, fuck you. This show has never been on thinner ice, and they are testing me. Okay, now I want everyone watching this video to take a deep breath Then let it out. And I want you to continue doing that as I show you the following clip.
This passage mentions his resting place. Where there's a resting place, there's gotta be a gravestone. And gravestones have names on them!
Everyone, keep breathing. Please don't stop breathing. And I think now is a good time to point out that in my reaction of this episode, I don't think I said another word until maybe the last 2 minutes. I just stared at the screen in blank fury because I was actually convinced that they were going to commit to whatever fuckery this was. And my brain was too preoccupied attempting to not self-destruct that I was incapable of forming any form of reaction. But I encourage all of you to stick around until I finish talking about this episode in particular because they do pull the rug out from underneath you. So just hang in there.
So you want to look for a dead body? I'm in.
Alex, normally I would crown you for such a line, but I have never had the urge to slap the best character in this show in the face more than I do right now. So the group flies off to the nature realm. Is that what they're calling it now?
It's a whole new realm.
It looks like a rainforest. It's in the nature realm. Come on, pal.
I'm just gonna say nature realm because it's less energy, and this show doesn't deserve my energy. At least no more than making an hour-long review every couple of months when a new season drops takes. And they start exploring a bit, but they find dick all.
Eugene, this is serious. Don't you get what it's like to know you're connected to something and be so close to figuring it out? It's not a joke to me.
Did you actually just say that with a straight face? Have you ever heard the phrase, actions speak louder than words? Maybe I would actually believe that Tom has any investment in his family heritage and his connection with thunder if he wasn't absolutely incompetent and reckless at every turn in his journey to figure it out. Not to mention disrespectful as hell with precious ancient artifacts. And I'm not even referring to the leg incident. Did you think we forgot how he quite literally defaced the Dragon book last season? And I get it. He is a 15-year-old child. His decision making is intended to be flawed because it represents who he is as a character and how he will eventually grow. Well, you know, that might mean something if his character actually underwent change ever. But what? Is it just more convenient for the screenwriters to just make him incompetent every episode? Writing characters that undergo change and development is hard. We already have so much to keep track of. I don't want to do it. So the kids get robbed by these new species of dragons called Vinetails, which are monkey-like dragons who like to steal things apparently.
Don't freak out, Tom. Oh, my tablet!
Well, at least her tablet can be replaced. That book is old and priceless.
And we watch for an ungodly amount of time as they lose the book, and then get it back, and then lose the book again, and then lose their other stuff, and get their other stuff back. Then we watch as their dragons get caught in what is kind of the equivalent of Dragonvine from the How to Train Your Dragon comic, and I actually think it was well utilized here, especially for a rainforesty type biome. And by trading with and befriending the Vinetails, they help their dragons escape, and everything's fine.
You are so lucky this still turns on.
Overall, the conflict of this episode wasn't that bad, but again, I was not focused on the conflict. I was instead focused on the war crime they were committing in the background. And this is me informing you guys that it is true. The characters in this show find the resting place of Hiccup Haddock III.
This tree! The book wasn't talking about a final resting place. It was a place he came to relax.
You know what the funniest part about this is? I don't think the producers of this show knew just how close they really came to signing the 9 Realms death warrant. I mean, they're already 3 steps in the grave with what they did last season. Are they genuinely trying to get this show canceled? You know what? Maybe they are. Maybe that's the trick behind all of it. Maybe they really do know how horrible it is and they want it to end just as badly as we do. And I haven't actually said this in my past reviews. I've alluded alluded to it a fuck ton of times. But if this episode right here doesn't prove that the screenwriters don't give two shits about what happened at the end of movie 3, then I don't know what does. It is now confirmed that Hiccup and his family apparently would just come down to the hidden world to hang out, which I guess was a given considering the book's existence and all the knowledge it holds about the different dragon realms, not to mention whatever the fuck that mural was. But they were obviously coming down here quite a bit since Hiccup went through all the intricacies of finding the nature realm and declaring this vagina tree as his resting place, because it has the Haddock name carved into it and everything. But I am now going to pose a question aimed directly at the showrunners, because they clearly don't believe that this is a problem of any kind, and I really hope that they're listening. If Hiccup and his family, and maybe even all the other people on New Berk, were just going to re-enter the hidden world regardless of the dragons retreating there, and they're just gonna hang out and be pals and do pretty much everything they did when the dragons were still on the surface world, then what was the point of the goodbye scene in movie 3? What this show has essentially done with Hiccup's story, which is something I feel everyone is looking over when they make the argument that it's not that bad, is essentially strip away any and all emotion that the people who made the third movie built to for 12 years. I am genuinely bewildered at how someone can make that decision and claim that they are being respectful to the franchise's origins. I get that a lot of people don't even like the end of movie 3, but that isn't the point that I'm making here. Regardless of how you feel about it, it is still the canonical ending to Hiccup and Toothless's story. And maybe I wouldn't mind a spin-off coming in and changing parts of it up a little bit if they weren't doing it for the sole purpose of drawing in fans of the original franchise to watch this new show, because that's the only way they're going to get the ratings they need to stay on the air, because this new show on its own is shit. And I don't think there's a singular person to blame here. I can't say for sure if this is Universal or DreamWorks or whoever forcing the showrunners to include these things for the reasons I just mentioned, or the more tragic option, this was actually just the showrunners' ideas. I just want to make it very clear that I am not using John Telligan as a punching bag for all of these terrible decisions. I don't know if he's responsible. I'm going to hold him responsible because he's the executive producer, and that's his job to take responsibility if a show is good or bad. Just understand me. It is impossible at this stage to claim that this show is genuinely respecting its origins. They have done nothing but wipe their ass with the original franchise and everything it stood for since the very first episode. And do you know how I referenced earlier that it's doing nothing but becoming a parody of itself at this point? This twisted, fucked up bait and switch that they pull is exactly the proof I'm talking about. The entire final act of this episode is nothing but the screenwriters wiggling their finger in your face saying, "Oh, you thought we were gonna show Hiccup's gravestone for real? We have more class than that." As if 4 episodes ago, they didn't do this. You are not above that, Dragons the Nine Realms. You have proven time and time and time again that you have no class. And instead of weaving Hiccup's story into the plot of your episodes for the sake of something actually interesting happening, you try this crazy new thing called making your own story actually good. So Tom and the kids discover that the word Haddock is carved into the tree in Viking runes, even though they look nothing like the Viking runes from the original franchise, because why the fuck should they? And they conclude that it's another dead end because they are not aware of the fact that Haddock is a name, so Tom goes home distressed to his mother, and he's just so frustrated, as is the audience. I mean, another dead end? Come on! We've spent 5 seasons now trying to figure out the mystery of Tom's heritage, and they just aren't going to tell us? Are they going to make us endure this torture forever? How will we ever know?
I'm trying to figure out who wrote it, but all I found is the word Haddock.
Wait a minute.
But I'm pretty sure a fish didn't write the book.
Tom, Haddock isn't just a fish, it's also a name.
Oh my god.
My great-grandfather was a haddock.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
And the author of the book was named Hiccup Haddock.
Oh no. No way. No way.
This Hiccup guy seems to be the greatest dragon rider ever.
It can't be. It can't.
And I'm related to him.
No way. No way. No way.
And I'm related to him.
What?
And I'm related to him. We both are.
Oh wait. No. Wait. What?
And I'm related to him. We both are.
Baby!
And I'm related to him. We both are.
Whoa! I don't believe it!
And I'm related to him. We both are. What am I supposed to do with that?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Dragon rider ever.
Oh, Didi! Oh,
And
what
I'm
it is?
related
Oh,
to him.
Didi! What?
No fucking way!
Greatest dragon rider ever. And I'm related to him.
Oh my god! I don't believe it! No way!
Be the greatest dragon rider ever. And I'm related to him. We both are. What am I supposed to do with that?
Oh, what the shit? Tom is a descendant of Hiccup? Oh my god! I mean, I can't believe it. I can't. Oh, wait. I swear to God, if this fuckboy is revealed to be a descendant of Hiccup and Astrid, I'm checking out. Yes, everyone. This E-boy is a descendant of Hiccup Horrendous Haddock III. After exploring the Nine Realms wiki, I stumbled upon this little fact, which is that the name Colorson is composed of the word color, which is Danish for haddock, and sen, which means son of. Tom, son of Haddock. And not only would finding that provide Tom with the familiar symbol he was looking for, the spalder was also made from Toothless's scales. It would have been the perfect confirmation that his family lineage is related to Thunder's species of dragon in some way. I don't even like Tom that much. I just want Alex to contribute to Hiccup's gene pool someday, where it doesn't tie a direct connection between Hiccup and Tom being descendants, but heavily implies it, even though we already fucking know that they are, because everyone fucking knows already. Oh yeah, I guess we did already know, yeah. And I will say this is another thing I liked about this season, and it's that we finally put an end to that irritating subplot. And now we can stop attributing him being a descendant of Hiccup as if it's a secret, which it never was. I mean, was that the reaction they were hoping for? I hope I delivered. I was compensating for the fact that there is not a single human being on the planet who actively watches this show that didn't see that coming. I also love how they never showed how Tom came to the conclusion that Hiccup is his first name.
And the author of the book was named Hiccup Haddock.
Like in the beginning, they made the whole joke about him having Viking indigestion or whatever, but they don't explain how he figured. Can I be done talking about this episode now? Episode 4 is titled Scent of a Dragon and is the adult baby fetish, June/Eugene centric episode of this season. Yes, I did say June centric, and yes, I did have to keep bile from rising in my throat while saying that. But luckily, by virtue of it also being Eugene centric, it cancels out a majority of her awfulness, at least to a certain degree. Because as I stated earlier, June is not as insufferable this season as she was the previous one, but that is not saying anything because the last June centric episode was Journey to the Snowcano, aka probably the most anger-inducing 22-minute experience of this entire show, and an episode that I would rather dive headfirst into a wood chipper than sit through again. The episode starts out with June's mother being a bitch, I guess it's genetic. She critiques everything June does while meanwhile babying Eugene, and it clearly is not the same between both siblings. June gets understandably frustrated by this and even almost blows the secret to their mother, and all the kids meet in the nature realm and express their mutual desire to tell their parents about the dragons, claiming that since Tom's mother is aware, they should be able to tell their parents as well. Tom dissuades the idea, saying that his mother is more than capable of keeping the secret, and meanwhile we get a scene with Olivia and one of Alex's mothers, and she morally debates whether or not telling them is the right thing to do.
Now you just sit down right here and let it all out.
2 days ago, I found
Carla!
Okay, barring the fact that Olivia is one of the most irresponsible adults to ever live, considering she has the opportunity to tell the other parents that their children are flying around fire-breathing reptiles in a dangerous hidden world, where they could at any point be eaten, fall to their deaths, or be killed by a hatchet-wielding maniac, all of which almost happens in this episode. But Olivia decides against it because the promise that she made her son is just that important. So it's only important when your child is in danger. Got it. But second off, what is this shit about 2 days?
2 days ago, I found
Carla!
2 days ago, you found out what? That your son is a furry? We know at minimum a week has passed since she first discovered Thunder because Tom was grounded, so she can't be referring to that discovery. Is she instead talking about the fact that all the other kids have dragons and she found that out 2 days ago? Are you telling me that we're 4 episodes in and only 2 days have passed since the end of episode 1? I guess that wouldn't be impossible, but it seems very, very improbable. I mean, it's also a possibility that the screenwriters are just not keeping track of time between episodes and said fuck it when retaining any form of continuity, but the chances of that being true are astronomically low, right? So back in the nature realm, we see Buzzsaw and his 2 henchmen attempt to capture the Snifflehide dragon, which is a new blind species of dragon with an admittedly interesting design. The kids mention something about looking for it in the beginning of the episode, but I don't really know why. And then Buzzsaw mentions something about an underground dragon market where he can sell their hides for money.
Maybe I'll make a cape to denote my importance and stature in the underground dragon market.
There's a dragon market?
Not yet, but just you wait.
Is that really the extent of the villains in this show? They don't want Ray Corp to find out about the dragons because they'll just use them for profit and business deals. So they introduced Buzzsaw in order to create a villain who had a personal vendetta against the dragons. He believes they're responsible for burning down his logging company, therefore his primary motivation has always been revenge. And now his motivation is just the exact same thing that would happen if Ray Corp found out about the dragons. So the kids show up and stop Buzzsaw from capturing the Snifflehide, but Eugene tries to take charge and it results in him and June getting in an argument right in front of the psychotic murderer who's wielding a hatchet.
Look out! Now don't move, or your friend here, or your friend... Oh, what is that smell?
But after this, we get into a bulk of what this episode is actually about, where the captured Snifflehide smells Eugene's body spray that he put on at the beginning of the episode, and because she's blind and only goes by smell, she thinks that Eugene is one of her babies because the body spray smells like her eggs, I guess. So she then kidnaps Eugene and takes him back to her nest and proceeds to treat him like a baby. And while this is going on, Olivia's back on the surface world having an encounter with D'Angelo's dad, and again passes up the opportunity to tell her colleague that their children are in grave danger, but she chooses not to because she's not a regular mom, she's a cool mom.
Hey, Dr. K.
This alarm, is that new?
Oh yeah. It's designed to differentiate between a human intruder and an animal intruder.
What the fuck? The sirens just went off when Olivia went through. Did the screenwriter forget what they wrote literally 2 lines of dialogue ago? Is Olivia an animal? I get that her son is a furry, but this is discrimination on a whole new level. And speaking of including unconventional fetishes into this children's show,
He's trying to put my face in his barf! Why are you laughing?
So after a fuck ton of the episode is spent on this dragon treating Eugene like a baby, she then attempts to teach him how to fly by pushing him off a cliff. But Webmaster saves him, and then Buzzsaw shows up because they needed to fill an additional 2 minutes of runtime. He accomplishes nothing and then gets dragged away by the Snifflehide after Eugene throws his body spray at him. So the dragon thinks Buzzsaw is its baby now. You get the fucking point. Let's just turn from black to white. Save this fucking episode, please. Oh, just do it. Then we cut to June in Eugene's dome, and we actually get a pretty good scene where Eugene explains to June that the only reason their mother treats them differently is because she expects more out of June because she thinks she's capable of more. I glossed over a lot of the smaller moments between these two throughout the episode because number one, most of them are very annoying, and it's just the same grating, redundant sibling argument schlock that we've seen non-stop since Eugene was introduced as a character, and two, because I just really really wanted to get this episode out of the way because it's essentially meaningless. But there were actually moments where June admitted fault in judging Eugene and treating him the way that she did.
I just feel bad. If I wasn't teasing Eugene, you guys wouldn't have been distracted, and he wouldn't have been taken.
And I think this ending scene works really well. It's a great bonding moment between two siblings that we always see fighting with each other, and even humanizes their mother to a certain extent, even though she's only on screen for a small portion of it.
You need to get the small things out of the way to focus and make way for big accomplishments.
It also goes to show that Eugene is competent and observant and not the baby-brained idiot that this show has been treating him all season.
She just treats us differently based on what she thinks we can handle. And she obviously thinks you're the most capable. Anything that makes me feel. You two are exactly alike. It's so annoying.
In general, it was a really great way to end the episode. Now let me tell you why I hate it. The rare moments of genuine character development through this show have always been my favorite, and that's what makes this so infuriating because I know for a fact that the screenwriters in the future are going to pretend like this scene never even happened. Kinda like Eugene having a ton of character development in the last season to where he was even becoming one of my favorite characters behind Alex. And this season, they act like none of that shit ever took place and he's just a bumbling idiot again. I know for an unwavering fact, because they have done it multiple times at this point, that the screenwriters are going to forget that this moment ever happened between June and Eugene the second it's convenient for them and they need conflict in future episodes. The people making this show have quite literally damned themselves to now making even the genuinely good moments that take place completely meaningless. And that's what makes this episode so frustrating. And that's not even counting the fact that it's partially June-centric. I don't know who wrote this episode, but if they're in charge of it, I guarantee you we're gonna see that adult baby fetish reincorporated. I have a strong hunch.
Make cat.
Rule 34, just ahoy!
Oh my god, did you just say Make Cat? That's the same person
Yeah.
who wrote Journey to the Snowcano. Okay, fuck this episode. Fuck it all the way up its own ass. I don't care anymore. Alright, I'm obviously being dramatic. I'm sure the screenwriters are more than capable of being competent. But maybe if the studio they worked for let them walk outside and see sunlight once in a while, instead of keeping them chained in their basement, writing an entire season per workday, they'd be able to come up with something more sensible. It's me. Hi. We're back with another lesson from the School of Writing Cheap Spin-Offs. Today's lesson is very simple. Character continuity and why we don't need it. Now, it's perfectly acceptable to have moments of genuine character growth and development when it suits the narrative of your episode. But if you need that character to do something that completely contradicts that growth later on, then fuck it. Do whatever's easiest and saves the most time. Yep, logical thinking is bad. Just do what you need to finish the episode in time, I know. Look at you! You're really getting the hang of it now. Just wait until you graduate. Yeah, what's gonna happen when I get to that point? Well, we won't have any use for you anymore. And guess what happens to screenwriters we don't need? Episode 5 is titled Sting It On, and it is the episode that sees the return of the Speed Stinger Dragons from the previous shows. Now, you may have noticed I'm kind of skimming through the plots of all these middle episodes just so I can get to the insanity that is the season finale. But the plot of episode 5 is actually so dumb. I feel the need to hyper-focus on it just so you can understand without watching it yourself what I'm talking about. And ever since season 2, I always seem to have one episode that I love more than any of the others just because it's so bad it's funny. And this time around it was actually hard to pick just one. Normally there's one that really stands out, but this time it was more of a collection of bad moments that were so awful they're funny. The end of episode 1 and something that happens later in this episode being the biggest. But if I absolutely had to pick a favorite from season 5, it would probably be Sting It On. Either that or episode 6, but honestly that season finale gets so crazy it probably deserves its own category. The episode begins with Tom and Olivia eating dinner, and she lets him know that she's at the point where she absolutely has to tell the other parents that their children are riding dragons, and that Tom can't possibly see the situation from her perspective because he doesn't have children.
Having a child is like allowing your heart to walk around outside of your body.
First of all, I have 23 years worth of mommy issues that proves that is not true. Second, none of this even matters because she doesn't end up telling the other parents. But then Sled Bitch shows up and says that she needs Olivia's notes from when they discovered this sinkhole at the end of season 3 because she's looking for more of that green crystal dragonite, and she thinks that the reason they encountered Buzzsaw at the sinkhole is because Buzzsaw knew that there was dragonite in the sinkhole, and she thinks that he wanted to keep it to himself, and that's why he made them leave.
I think he knows there's something in that sinkhole, and I'm willing to bet my Betlison prize it's dragonite.
And because of that one singular, very flimsy, far-fetched presumption, she's decided to lead an expedition into the sinkhole to look for more of that green crystal. Even though they have an entire fucking fissure to explore, which is literally their job to do. And that's the only place they've ever found dragonite, so she would have zero reason to believe the sinkhole even leads to anything. This was the excuse they chose to use to get the conflict of this episode started. And I'm just going to prepare you right now. I don't think there is a single decision in this episode, or the one after it for good measure, that the characters make that is not the most irresponsible, dumbest, confusing solution they possibly could have come up with. Case in point, this brain-dead mother and son duo. When Tom overhears that the expedition to the sinkhole is happening the following morning, the solution he proposes to Olivia is not to simply get the other kids and block the sinkhole before that happens, which by the way the kids have done twice before. Once in season 2 when Tom and Olivia were exploring the caves, and again in season 3 when Sled Bitch was looking for the crystal back then and D'Angelo and Alex stopped her. Tom's solution instead is to go down to the hidden world, find more dragonite, and just hand it to Sled Bitch, I guess.
What if me and the Dragon Riders go down there first and get some dragonite? You can give it to Sledkin, and then she won't need to go.
Okay, never minding all the issues that would impose, like Sled Bitch questioning where they found it, why Olivia would be down there at all, and most certainly making the decision to go back to that location to find more in the future, therefore defeating the purpose of all of this. Never mind all of that. Olivia's response to this plan is just no.
Tom.
Come on.
No.
And not because of any of the reasons I just said, but because she is choosing specifically now to enforce her belief that the hidden world is too dangerous for the kids to be in. You know, I'm starting to think that Olivia has short-term memory loss, and by virtue, her screenwriters as well. Remember how earlier she said that 2 days had passed when in reality it had been like 2 weeks? Because she clearly doesn't remember that the past 3 episodes have been a thing. They have gone into the hidden world every single episode this season, and Olivia has not said shit about it. Only now that RayCorp discovering the dragons is a very, very likely possibility, she decides it's too dangerous. It has been dangerous the past 3 fucking episodes, you prick! Oh, but only now. Only now. Only now is it too dangerous. Only now because that is what the Overlord told us to write. So, yeah. But don't worry, guys, because I am just an idiot who doesn't know what I'm talking about. Because Olivia isn't saying no because she doesn't care about the dragons being found out. She's saying no because she herself has a master plan. Dr. Olivia Cullerson is a super genius. Degrees out the ass, a famed explorer who predicted that the comet would open up the fissure, even though she's just a fucking geologist. What could be this genius scientist's master plan? Oh, it's to go down the sinkhole and sneak into the dragon realm without telling anyone. To find dragonite on her own, even though she'd have no reason to believe that there's any down there, and neither would the audience because we've never seen it in the ice realm before, and somehow make it out without being mauled to death by dragons, and then hand the dragonite to Sled Bitch. Which, mind you, is still not a solution. But even that aside, what the fuck is wrong with you? Olivia had no idea that dragons existed last week, and she's gonna sneak off by herself to a dragon realm looking for a crystal she doesn't even know is there and doesn't tell anyone? I am continuously bewildered at how often this show treats children who watch it like they are so incompetent they can't see how stupid this is. I don't care if you're marketing this show towards children. I don't care if you're marketing this show towards blind, deaf, comatose 5-year-olds. This is fucking stupid. Why are all the characters in this show incapable of rational thinking? And you cannot use the defense of that's just the way the story goes. Like there are not conscious human beings making this show that are behind these decisions. So Tom, Eugene, and Alex go off to the ice realm to find Tom's fucking idiotic mother after she hasn't shown up for work all morning and no one can find her, so Tom just concludes that that's where she went. And when they get down there, they find Olivia, who by some grace of God found Dragonsight, even though we've never seen it in the ice realm before right now. But she also found an entire pack of evolved speed stingers, who have spots now, I guess.
I liked the adaptation that they had spots. I'm not really sure what it means to be moldy, but I don't know, I liked it, I think.
Moldy. For those unfamiliar with the original show, speed stingers are a type of dragon that cannot fly, but their ability is that if they sting you with their tail, you become immediately paralyzed. At least that's supposed to be their ability, because as you'll see in this episode, the speed stinger's venom just kind of works conveniently whenever the screenwriter wants it to. Then we get what could be a really cool action sequence with the speed stingers attempting to attack them, but it's kind of ruined by the fact that all the dragons just kind of forget that they can fly upwards if they don't want to get stung. So they toss around Olivia's paralyzed body and try to escape but fail miserably. Wow, if only there were 20,000 better solutions to this problem that you guys just chose not to do. And meanwhile, back at Icarus, D'Angelo and June are busy trying to distract D'Angelo's dad and Sled Bitch. D'Angelo by convincing his dad that he needs to go through with a safety certification for the winch he's going to be operating during the expedition, because his dad is such a stickler for safety. And June by asking about the book that Sled Bitch wrote, which causes her to stay behind and talk about it for much longer than anticipated. It's meant to be a nod to how arrogant her character is, but I cannot express this enough. June and Sled Bitch have better chemistry than any two characters in this show, arguably in all 5 seasons.
I was wondering what your theory is on the existence of mythological lost cities like Atlantis.
Let me point you to my favorite passage in the book. I'm sure I have a copy with me somewhere. It's preposterous, especially given this evidence, to deny the possibility, let alone the probability, that these societies existed.
Hey, I mean, it makes sense. If the really adventurous, extroverted character and the shy, timid character have great chemistry together, then it only makes sense that the characters who are equally parts bitchy, arrogant, and self-righteous would also have great chemistry. And meanwhile, Tom, Alex, and Eugene continue to get their asses kicked by the speed stingers, whose venom does not act at all like it's supposed to, like I said, for the sake of convenience. Like, despite being very clearly stung, Eugene still has the ability to talk, and Plowhorn can still move a little, and Alex gets stung later in the episode, but it takes effect extremely slowly, and only if she's giving Tom instructions. I get wanting to incorporate dragons from the OG franchise, but don't you think you should at least make their abilities consistent? Or did the people making this just forget how speed stinger venom works? Kinda like how they forgot that razor whips do not make fire tornadoes, and typhoomerangs are a thing, and they make fire tornadoes, so why wouldn't you just use that? Did they forget that typhoomerangs were even a thing? Apparently. There was a similar situation in Race to the Edge where the characters were being attacked by a speed stinger and only partially paralyzed, but that's because it was a baby speed stinger, and its venom hadn't fully developed yet. But Race to the Edge was like, oh my god, a few years ago at least. I don't expect the people making this show to know that, even though this is a direct continuation of the franchise. So Alex gets an idea to stop the speed stingers using her sensors, and I was actually looking forward to this episode considering what I believe to be the 3 best characters spend a majority of it together, while the most bland and most irritating character are left behind. But Eugene, by virtue of the screenwriters totally fucking him over this season, is really insufferable throughout it. Alex and Tom have some potential for great moments, but it is very overshadowed by how dumb their decisions are. Then we get an entire scene of Tom talking to his paralyzed mother who can't respond and is stuck in the most uncomfortable looking position ever. And blah blah blah, sappy scene, she loves him, what the fuck ever. So Alex gets the sensors working, but gets stung, so it's up to Tom to get them out of there.
Nice going, doofus! You faced me the wrong way! Who's gonna save our butts if I can't even see?
Why would Tom do that? What purpose does it serve besides the audience giggling, maybe? So by the end, everyone gets frozen except for Tom, even Thunder, and it's terrifying. And then we get what is probably the greatest scene in the entire season, where Phil lowers Sludbitch down on the winch completely by herself into the sinkhole. All she has is a flashlight, and apparently one of the speed stingers made it away from the group, and she actually gets attacked, and I shit you not, it is edited like a horror movie jump scare. Oh my god, please kill her,
I think
please.
there's something down here.
Come on. Holy shit! I mean, goddamn. So the excuse everyone always likes to throw around is that it's marketed towards children, so the characters don't have to make any sense. But then they'll throw in some shit like this. If I was a 5-year-old and saw this, I would shit myself.
Man,
Oh, dude, one of these freeze frames is terrifying.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, isn't that the shot when like you see the speed singer jump out of the dark?
Yeah, but like, I'm on a paused freeze frame, and that is terrifying.
I told you. What the fuck? Oh my god! So with the help of feathers, Tom dukes all the speed stingers into stinging themselves, and everything's fine. And they all magically come out of the paralysis at the same time, including Thunder and the other dragons who only got stung like 2 minutes ago. But sure, why the fuck not? And when they all get back, they find out Sludbitch had been stung, and everyone thinks she was bitten by a cave snake. Although this is a conflict that will continue on into the next episode, and it is very hilarious, so stay tuned.
We should consider taking a sample of your blood, Dr. K. The venom in your system could help us develop a speed stinger anti-venom.
How intelligent of you. As a 14-year-old child. Listen, I understand that D'Angelo is the doctor of the group, but he learned everything he knows from his veterinarian grandfather. My dad is a veterinarian, and if I went up to him and asked if he could develop an anti-venom using solely his veterinarian knowledge as someone who's been doing it for 30 years, he would look at me like I had lobsters crawling out of my eyeballs. D'Angelo having knowledge about animal functionalities and health makes perfect sense, but I swear to God, if this one-off line of dialogue is the excuse that they use to bring in an anti-venom in later seasons, I'm going to laugh my ass off. And I would go into detail about the very final scene of this episode, but I don't really need to because you've already seen it. Because the ending of episode 5 is beat for beat the exact same as the ending of episode 2, where Olivia claims that she's very, very proud of their teamwork, but she has to tell the other parents about the dragons because it's the right thing to do.
That impressed me. After seeing what you did today, there's no denying you can handle yourself. It doesn't feel right keeping them in the dark either. They need to know. It's not right. I'm telling the other parents about the dragons.
Do you finally see what I mean when I say that this season is nothing but filler? What have the last 3 episodes even accomplished if you are just going to end episode 5 the same as episode 2? It's me. Hi. We're back with another lesson from the School of Writing Cheap Spinoffs. Today's lesson... Who the fuck cares about your story? Just get it done so we can dispose of you in our company's garbage can. What season are we on again? Oh, Jesus, don't test me. One more complaint out of you and you'll be bound. I'm already handcuffed. You can still move your mouth and legs, can't you? What the fuck are you going? Stop it! You little shit! Episode 6 is titled Deep Freeze, and it is the 5th season finale of the 9 Realms. And you know how I've been mentioning all video that this season feels like nothing but filler, and pretty much everything they accomplished could have happened in 2 or 3 episodes instead of all 6? Well, this season finale goes 0 to 100 with plot elements and stupid shit so quickly, it's actually impressive. That being said, this is easily the least boring episode of the season, but I mean that in a so ridiculously bad it's good kind of way. The episode begins as we see a giant ice storm has rendered Project Icarus almost inhabitable, and Sled Bitch is still in recovery from the Speed Stinger attack.
It's been 3 days. How much longer do I need to be observed?
Fucking excuse me? I am not denying that a winter storm of this magnitude can sweep in as quickly as that. I live in Missouri. When I was in high school, there was a spring day where I forewent wearing a jacket because it was over 60 degrees that morning, and by lunch they were sending us home early because a cold front was icing the roads over. That is a true story. But there have been no prior mentions of issues with winter storms, which you would kind of expect. But even if I suspend my disbelief to that extent, which isn't a huge stretch, what happens next is absolutely laughable. After the kids gather in the dragon lair and express to Tom how badly they want their parents to know the secret, they're called back to headquarters and Tom thinks that Olivia spilled the beans like she said that she would, but it turns out to be Phil telling the base that the winter storm is worse than they originally thought. All of their power is gone, the generator is fucked, they have no winter gear or supplies, no way to contact the outside world, and if they can't get the auxiliary power running, they're all going to die and their scientific samples will go to shit. What? And the entire time this is being explained, Phil's giving a dramatic monologue like it's a Robert Zemeckis movie.
The line that connects us to civilization is a thin one. And if we're going to survive this, we all need to work together.
So evidently this research facility, that is worth over $1 billion according to Olivia, not only has the most dysfunctional power system ever, and scientists who think throwing a blanket over an empty counter is going to protect their precious samples from the cold, and only one vehicle, I guess, that Linda crashes containing winter gear she had to travel to another ranger station to get, and no food or rations for emergency winter situations, despite them having a full-ass general store. They have nothing, and they're located in fucking Scandinavia? Look, I am a believer in the multiverse. There's probably a universe where Christopher Columbus sailed to North America, became best buds with the natives, and didn't desecrate an entire population leading to centuries of discrimination. There's probably a universe where Stalin and Hitler shook hands and decided to declare peace on the whole continent of Europe for the sake of doing the right thing. There is probably a universe where I like Dragons the 9 Realms, despite the cheap cash grab it most certainly is. But I am absolutely sorry. There is no fucking universe where a research center worth $1 billion in the Scandinavian fucking wilderness doesn't have a singular closet filled with extra coats and bottles of water. Why don't you people have supplies? Why don't you gather food from the general store? Why does Sled Bitch have the only coat and hat in the entire base? Why didn't you call for help before your communications went down or when Linda went to the other functioning ranger station? Why don't you people leave in other vehicles you've been shown to have? Why are you putting a blanket over an empty counter? Why is a geologist fixing your generator? Why don't you keep an eye on your children during this catastrophic winter event? What the fuck is going on? I refuse to believe these questions just evaded the screenwriter's mind when they were writing this shit. It's me. Hi. Welcome back to the School of Writing Cheap Spin-Offs. Today's lesson: how to properly dispose of screenwriters who start asking questions and forming independent thought. You see, creative thinking is the antithesis of factory-produced media. Luckily, there are a multitude of satisfactory ways to get the job done. My favorite being Quiet! Do you have any idea what you've done? Because of what you did with Uncharted Territory, children are going to use rational thinking for once! If it wasn't for me compensating by following that episode with Journey to the Snowcano, you'd already be at the bottom of Monterey Bay! Although, maybe we do have some use for you. You see, there's another reason our ratings are in the shit, and it has to do with some imbecile on the internet who's divulging all of our secrets in some juvenile video essays. Your job would be to find that person and take them out. Are you up for it? Or should I rent that boat? Perfect. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to do my nightly ritual of shitting on the grave of the original Dragons franchise. See you next season! Fuck this show so hard up its own ass for even thinking children are incompetent enough to buy this. Not everyone on Earth is as mentally incapable of basic human reasoning as the adults at Project Icarus. All the ketamine in the world would not make a collective group of adult human scientists this dumb. So Linda crashes the fucking van with all their life-saving winter gear and the generator is officially fucked, so while all the kids are stuck in Tom's dome, they try to find solutions. I'm sure all of these are going to make perfect sense.
The dragons could help. They could start a fire and warm everyone up.
June, you would be the fucking person to say that. How about this? Lighter fluid, matches, fire. But that's my solution to everything June related. So Eugene and D'Angelo go off to help Linda while Tom, Alex, and June go to restart the generator using Thunder's electricity. There's a 3-minute subplot where Eugene and D'Angelo figure out that putting flashlights on dragons' horns helps them see in the dark. A revolutionary discovery, everyone. And when they find Linda, she thinks she's being abducted by aliens. What the fuck is happening? Meanwhile, Tom and June are at the generator with Thunder and Sled Bitch just walks up and sees them because they're out in the fucking open. Oh god, we're only halfway through the episode. It gets so much better, just wait. So try to keep up here. As Thunder is powering up the generator, Sled Bitch pulls out a tranquilizer gun that I guess she was carrying because she wanted to hunt the thing that attacked her in the sinkhole, so she was just carrying it around on base, which is miles away from where she was attacked, but okay. And she shoots Thunder, and it makes him fry the generator on accident, and Alex comes in on feathers and kills her. I told you she'd be the one to do it.
She's alive. Mostly.
And Olivia walks in on all of this happening and blames them.
The generator is fried. Now we have no hope of restoring power.
Alright, this woman can officially go fuck herself with a wire brush. Which, yes, Tom's plan was absolutely stupid and was never going to work. But what fucking room does Olivia have to speak? You and your infinitely wise colleagues did zero preparation for emergency events despite being at a remote research center in the wilderness, and you are actually going to blame your son for things going to shit?
The harder I try to keep the dragon's secret, the more I put everyone in danger. I'm no hiccup. I can't bring humans and dragons together.
Wow. Who wrote this episode? John Telligan. Just John Telligan. Okay, super. Sir, I know you're gonna see this, and I would like to give you a genuine 100% deadass, not sarcastic thank you. I am astounded and very impressed that you actually gave Tom Cullerson the first line of dialogue in this entire show's history that I cannot dispute. I don't think there has ever been a more accurate sentence spoken by any character in all 5 seasons of this show combined. Tom Cullerson is no hiccup. From God's divine oversight to this animated fuckboy's lips. So now... Okay, I know I said multiple times this video that a particular scene is my favorite of the whole season, like Buzzsaw popping up out of the sinkhole or Sled Bitch getting attacked by the speed stinger, but this next scene is actually my most favorite thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm like actually about to cry thinking about it because it's so bad. I can't wait for you guys to watch it. Before Tom can put the dragons away, he hears a helicopter start, and it's his mom and Phil saying that they're about to fly to a nearby ranger station to get help.
I thought those winds were too harsh up there for takeoff.
We can't afford to risk not going.
Okay. I feel the need to do this live action because this is a really short scene and I can only put so much of it in for copyright purposes, but there's so much to talk about. So Olivia and Phil are about to fly in hazardous, freezing winds to go get supplies because they can't risk waiting. At first I thought their reason was gonna be that sled bitch because she was passed out, needed medical attention or something because she got hit with Feather's sonic blast and died. But no, they don't mention her once. Their reason is they need to get supplies, winter gear, and parts to fix the generator.
The nearest ranger station isn't too far away by air. Hopefully they'll have some spare parts for the generator, supplies, and winter gear.
So they can't wait for the winds to stop for what fucking reason? Literally nobody is in danger. They have food at the general store. If they hold up with some blankets in a fire, they will be fine. At least a couple of days, they can survive. I promise you. This is not the fucking day after tomorrow. Even those people survive. They'll be fine. If it is actually so cold that an entire research facility is under threat of dying, then there is no way these people could just be casually walking around outside like they've been doing all episode. At this point, I'm just convinced that Olivia and Phil are just actually trying to off themselves to get away from their kids, because guess what happens? The two of them get in the air, and I counted. I sat on my ass with a stopwatch and counted. 20 seconds go by, and they're crashing. If only you didn't absolutely need to fly a helicopter in hazardous, certain death conditions despite everything being fine. So the blades freeze mid-air, I guess, and everyone watches these dumbasses crash. But then... Please die, please die, please die, please die, please die! Oh my god, she's gonna get her head chopped off! Yes, 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 come on! Alright, John, I take back the compliment I gave you earlier. I will never forgive you for giving me the faintest glimmer of hope that we would get to watch Olivia get her head sliced off by the helicopter rotors. I thought she was about to get decapitated. I thought she was
getting sliced.
I thought, oh my god, you know how in Grand Theft Auto, whenever you fall onto a helicopter's rotors, it just sends you flying? I thought that was about to happen. I was so looking forward to it, but no. And how the fuck did she even fall out? Wasn't she strapped in? Alright, she's wearing her seatbelt in this shot, and then... Are you fucking kidding me? I know I don't need to go into detail about why this is so ridiculous and would never happen, but I'm going to do it anyways. I've been a passenger in military-grade helicopters with the doors wide fucking open before. They're kind of designed to keep you in one place with no chance of slipping from your seat. But I guess Olivia really was trying to off herself because there is no way she did not do this deliberately. Unfortunately, though, we do not get to see her die a horrible, painful death in front of all of her loved ones, because Tom swoops in on Thunder and saves her in front of everyone at the project, and the other kids come in on their dragons and save Phil. And oh boy, now the secret's out. It is going to be impossible for me to convey to you guys how awkward the last 3 minutes of this episode actually is, because the best way to show you would just be letting it play out, but obviously I can't do that because all the kids have their moments of introducing their dragons to their parents, and then nobody says anything. It's like the episode should have ended 2 minutes earlier with the adults finding out, but then it just kept going. I'm just gonna insert all the clips of the awkward silence that follows. Hopefully you'll get what I mean. Alright, look, I've pointed out before that it seriously feels like a majority of this show is just the screenwriters padding things for runtime, but I am not kidding when I say that I can physically feel the showrunners sweating through their seats trying to stretch this final act to the full episode length during these last 4 minutes. And also, I haven't even touched on this line from D'Angelo yet.
And luckily, all Rake employees are under strict secrecy guidelines, and that means no telling anyone outside of here about dragons.
Are you actually serious right now? So, apparently they never needed to worry about the adults finding out anyways, because they're all bound to secrecy. What? Why would you include a line like that? Why would that not be something brought up before? Or at the very least, they could incorporate it at the start of season 6 when everything kicks off from the adults having this revelation. Assuming that even happens, because honestly, I have no fucking idea where the showrunners are going to take this plot going forward, and I get an insanely strong hunch that when they made it to this point in the script, they didn't even know. They just had Tom in with a witty one-liner like it was a sitcom and not a serious moment you've been building to for 5 seasons.
This is gonna take some work.
It honestly feels like the ending of a bad fanfiction chapter. You remember when you were 14 and you start a fanfiction all excited, so you write some really awful chapters to get your story started, but then you get kind of tired of it halfway and writing chapters becomes more of a chore. You don't know what to do with the story any longer, but you've already committed and promised the 12 readers you have that you'd update it, so you grind and grind and grind to finish a chapter you think is actually cool, but then you realize, oh shit, I have no idea where to go from here. The story makes no sense and I don't even feel like continuing. That is exactly what this season finale felt like. Because what the fuck are they gonna do now? How is anything they've built up in the past 5 seasons gonna eventually conclude after this? How do you recover from this goofy shit? You know, the last 4 seasons I've been praying for the fall of this show, but after you pull some shit like this, fuck it, I want to see what kind of batshit insanity they do next. They have quite literally written themselves into permanent so bad it's funny territory, and I'm here for it. Worst case scenario, the show takes itself too seriously moving forward, and the League of Teenage Doofuses team up with their ketamine-addicted parents to keep the dragons a secret from the big bad businessmen. Either that or we just get a copy-paste of this season with all the other kids getting scolded by their parents like Tom and his idiot mother all 6 episodes. Or, best case scenario, Project Icarus is deemed hazardous, they're all sealed inside, and the government blows them up. One can only hope. Wow. I am astounded by the amount of people who claim this season was actually good. I don't think they're wrong for having that opinion. You can have whatever opinion on this show you want. I think I've made that clear. But I kind of wish I was watching season 5 with those rose-colored glasses. It's not like I want the show to be the terrible cesspool of shit it always proves itself to be. Was it as bad as season 4? Fuck no. Nor was it as blatantly offensive, but I'll be damned if it wasn't trying to be at certain points, especially episode 3. But if I had to assign a specific singular term to describe this season as a whole, it would just be insulting. Every single episode felt like the screenwriters treating the audience like they're incompetent and can't spend 2 seconds thinking through why every decision the characters make is ridiculous. I don't think there's a single conflict this season that couldn't have been solved with an easy solution. The dragons could have easily fought back against Buzzsaw. Tom could have identified the problem dragon instantly and told his mother that certain species just don't intermingle well with others. Tom could have taken pictures of the book pages on his phone and not travel through a dangerous realm with a fragile ancient artifact. The kids could have pulled Eugene out of the Snifflehide's nest at any point but didn't because it was funny to them. The kids could have blocked the sinkhole so Sledbitch physically couldn't go down there. And the adults could have waited out the storm instead of taking off in hazardous winds that almost killed them for no purpose at all. If you are a screenwriter who has posed questions as to why the characters you write do these things, and your response is, well, the story's gotta happen, then you are a shitty screenwriter. I'm sorry, but there is no getting past that. If the plot of an episode falls apart at the very root because of a simple solution, then you come up with a different plot that doesn't. You don't treat the audience like they're stupid and expect to get away with it by saying the story has to happen. Ever. It's called having integrity as an artist. And again, I want to emphasize that I have no idea how much creative input the writers behind this show even have. Yes, it would be a sin for the screenwriters to treat the audience like they're incompetent, but the only thing worse than that would be the screenwriters not having any say at all, or the directors, or the producers. But I have a truly hard time believing that all of these specifically awful plots and nuances are notes coming from Universal. Maybe I'm wrong. I really hope I am, but we can't be sure. You can sit there and say I'm nothing but biased, and I only want to hate this show because it isn't the original franchise and I never even gave it a chance. Of course, those people probably haven't sat through all of my videos, including all the times I have praised the show for doing good things. I even did it last season with Uncharted Territory. Despite last season being the worst, it was probably the best episode in the entire show so far. You can say anything you want about me, that I'm immature, that I need to stop watching a show I don't like and just let things be. But what you cannot say is that I have not been fair to this show. These aren't standards that I'm pulling out of my ass because I wanted to hate the show all along. These are standards that every piece of media made by a billion-dollar studio that I have to pay money to watch should be held to. Now, obviously, a lot of my anger comes from the fact that this franchise is dear to my heart, but that doesn't mean I haven't treated this show fairly. My critiques are justified and sensible, and when I get things wrong, I admit that I get them wrong. Why can't the people who made this show do the same? I am a 23-year-old making free-to-watch YouTube videos in my bedroom. I'm not in charge of a spin-off show to a multi-billion-dollar franchise that people pay money to watch. But no, I'm the villain here. I'm the one who's being unfair, and I'm just being mean. And fine, the people who genuinely believe that can practice what they preach for once and not watch my content if they don't like it. But I'm making these reviews for the vast majority of OG fans who refuse to give this show a chance. And just remember, I was one who did. I have seen every episode of every season of this show multiple times in making these reviews. Bias aside, I gave it a fair shot, even after they blatantly spat in the eye of OG fans last season. And, unsurprisingly, once again, I was disappointed. All we can do now is hope they don't go forward with anything else akin to what they did in season 4. But hey, if they do, I'll be here to share it with you, in whatever loud, outrageous fits of anger it will bring me. And that concludes my season 5 review of Dragons: The Nine Realms. I hope all of you enjoyed. I know this video came out a little bit later than I normally have them out after a season releases. Toast, do you want to say hi? Toast became famous in my last video. Hey! Yeah, she became famous in my last video for running into a door. You want to know what a cute kitten looks like? You were the most replayed part of that video. Oh, are you gonna do it again? She was thinking about it. Yeah, not much has changed in terms of her brain cell development. I wouldn't go as far as to say that they probably oh my god, Toast? Toast just jumped on my lap but headbutted the underside of my desk doing it. Are you okay?
Poor
Care
kitty.
package incoming.
As per usual, I'm gonna send this off by reacting to some comments from the last season review. You guys seem just as offended by how blatantly disrespectful that season was as me, so some of these are pretty heated. As a zoology nerd, this show keeps irritating me with how they make all dragons either act like dull tools for the kids or like the Jurassic franchise mindless, bloodthirsty dinosaur experiments. They don't act like normal animals deserving of respect. It's the animalistic, natural behavior of How to Train Your Dragon dragons that made me fall in love with them. The reason I think this is so funny and true is because I know for certain that the screenwriters of this show were going for the exact opposite of that reaction. They include so many lines about the dragons being independent living beings, but they never treat them like that, ever. Again, actions speak louder than words. This show just says it does things and then never shows the things that the characters are said to be doing. It's very frustrating. These next two are pretty much the same. They say, I feel like Tom feeding Hiccup's prosthetic to the Snow Wraith was very appropriate, because it's a clear demonstration of how the Nine Realms takes the original How to Train Your Dragon, chews it up, and spits it out without any consideration of how meaningful and special the original was to people. Excellent visual representation right there. I agree. And I was so deflated when they fed Hiccup's prosthetic leg to the Snow Wraith. That reveal at the end of the first movie of Hiccup's leg connected Hiccup and Toothless on a deeper level than just the emotional connections. They need each other now with both of their injuries. For the writers to seemingly throw away the last physical remains of their relationship is just disheartening. I have put so much thought into why that scene even happened. Because yes, the fact that it happened at all is still probably the most perplexing thing to come out of this entire show. That a scene like that could be pitched and approved and animated, and the showrunners actually thought it would be well received somehow. And I've come to the conclusion that I genuinely don't think they were trying to be disrespectful on purpose. I don't. I think what they were trying to do is mimic how Hiccup would always use his prosthetic leg in creative ways in a fight or to get out of a situation, like using it to climb the ice wall in Race to the Edge's finale, for example. And so the screenwriters in the Nine Realms thought, oh, we'll just have Tom use it in the same way Hiccup would have used it in that situation, and it'll be a fun callback. But just... they aren't the same. They aren't the same, and the screenwriters had to be ignorant of that. They just had to be. And it also just goes to prove that the showrunners of the Nine Realms genuinely believe that Tom deserves to be held in the same light as a protagonist as Hiccup. Which just goes to prove my point about this show wanting all the glory of the OG franchise, without putting in a shred of work to make Tom an actually good protagonist that earns it. It's really infuriating. I can't understand how you even get to this point. But regardless, I think they know they fucked up. This show will never be able to recover from what they did last season. They just will not. The picture of Hiccup and his family literally made my eyes start burning. I then had my face in my hands for a good 5 minutes. Then I screamed into a pillow. Again, I just want to talk to the art director or whoever is responsible for this. Why? Everything in the King Realm is cursed. It's probably a good thing we didn't go back there this season. And finally, this is a comment I literally received as I was sitting down to film this tonight, but I thought it was just so funny I had to include it. And this person is basically saying that the June rant at the end of Journey to the Snowcano, the cursed episode, was actually a textbook manipulation tactic. She's asked a question and can't answer reasonably, so appeals to pity by whining. Boo, you're not the first one to call me crazy for believing in myths, which is an actual tactic people use to manipulate others to stop asking a question. I can't. All I can say is I agree. I just want to know if the screenwriters to the show is okay. Like, all my skits aside, it's very troubling that this is the kind of shit they're teaching to young children. And the fact that they, again, finished the episode and animated it, and when they watched it back, they said to themselves, Yep, this is good. So that is going to be all for this video. Again, go check out Amber Nexus and Razorblade's channels. Links are in the description for that, as well as my Patreon to check out our full discussion. And of course, again, I'm reiterating, please do not go after or harass anyone who worked on the show or any people who praise it publicly. I wonder if they're gonna not tell John Telligan that it was a mistake again. Oh, that poor man. Believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I'm okay, Kelly. I'm just a YouTuber, so take that for what it's worth.